In this class, we're going to learn more about CSS. And one of the most important things about CSS is the CSS box model. In the previous class, we learned about CSS syntax as to how to write a CSS declaration. We also learned how to create a CSS file, a style.css, an external style sheet that you save it in the CSS folder. We also learned how to write it internally in the head tag in the HTML document. We also learned how to create inline style right in the HTML element tag. So we know sort of like the basics of CSS. Now we're moving on to the next thing, which is, how to structure our website, how to structure our web page, our HTML elements, so that we can add CSS properly. And one of the first things that you need to know about structuring your HTML is the CSS box model, which is extremely important. So if you look here, you see these three boxes here. So when you put content, so let's say you have a paragraph of content, the content goes in here, the box that is dotted and the most inside box here. So let me just highlight that for you here. So right here, this is how far your content goes. Let's say you have a paragraph of content here. It will fill up this, okay? And if you don't specify anything else, it would only be the space. Now, you might want to add padding to it so that there is space between your content and the border if you do have a border, okay? If you have no padding, the border will be right here, as wide as your content is. So when you tell your content to be, let's say 100 pixels, it will be this big, okay? 100 pixels wide. Your content will be 100. If you add padding, then the padding's outside of the width that you told it to be. Okay, so if you told your padding to be 10, there'll be 10 pixels here and 10 pixels here, and the width is 100. So total will be 10 plus 100 plus 10, it will be 120. Then you have the border here, okay? And then outside of the border, we have what you call the margin, okay? Right here, okay? Left and right. So the padding is all around. So left, top, right, bottom, same as the margin. Left, top, right, bottom. All right, so this is a little bit abstract. So let's go into Atom and let's create something and then tell it to have padding and margin and a border, and then it will all make sense to you. So let's go into our Atom, okay? And I'm just going to exit out of here. Let's go into Atom and let's go create a new page called box, okay? File and new file. And we'll call this, oh, here it is. Okay, I have too many things open, so I'm just going to click it all close. There we go. All right, so here we have, let's save it as box.html. Save as box.html and save. All right, now I'm going to enter the doc type. Oh, I have double angle brackets here. Many of you guys have this and you forget to delete the extra angle bracket and it shows up on your web page. So let's delete that. Make sure you only have one angle bracket there. Then I'm going to have my HTML tag and then I'll close it right away so I don't forget to close it later. Then I'll have my head tag. Oops. And then I'll have my body. And you're saying, I have an extra angle bracket, so I'll go, oh, and I have an extra there too. So here we go. So head, body, body, and inside the head, I'm going to have something called section. Okay. All right, here we go. And inside the section, I'm going to enter some text. So let's just go use some of that text from your course documents page. It's called lorem ipsum. It's just a placeholder text. So when you're designing something and you need some text, so it doesn't matter if it makes sense, it's just a block of text that you need. You're gonna go copy that and then paste it in there. Lorem ipsum is, it's Latin, so it's not even in English. It's just placeholder text. You can also call it dummy text. It's used in the design world to when you need a block of text, okay? When you need some words. All right, so let's go back to Adam. Let's place that in a paragraph. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to go into my CSS. So I'm going to save this, okay? Then I'm going to go into my CSS file, and I'm going to I'm actually going to, sorry, I'm actually going to put section up here, and then I'll talk about the proper way to organize your elements in here and your declarations in here. I'm just kind of doing it out of order right now, and it's just very disorganized, but for the purposes of demonstrating to you as a class, I want to have my, I want to have each example right at the very top so it's easier to show you. All right, having said that, I'm going to write section because that's what I'm styling. So what should we give for a section? Let's go over to our PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm going to have a width of 800 pixels. Okay, it's going to be 800 pixels. So width is 800 pixels. Okay, and then I'm going to have a border of 2 pixels, a padding of 10 pixels, and margin of 20 pixels. Okay, border of 2 pixels, okay, padding of 10 pixels, and margin of 20 pixels. Okay, and the border actually won't work because you need to also assign a color and a style to it, otherwise it won't show up. Okay, so the border property is shorthand for, you usually write border width equals border style, you declare that, and border color, declare that. But if you want to just write it the shorthand way, you have to write 2 pixels solid, the color, the style, and then the color. So I'm going to write 2 pixels solid black. 2 pixels solid black. Okay, and that should show up. All right, so I'm going to save that. File, save. And for my section, I'm going to give it a background color as well. Okay, background, so you can see it against, against the body. So background color, I'm going to go Misty Rose. I think Misty Rose is the color. There we go, Misty Rose. So I'm going to save all, and I'm going to go into my box and go view it. Here we go. Sorry, packages, view in browser, and you know why it didn't show up? Because I didn't link it to my CSS style sheet. So let's go over and do that. Okay, I'm just gonna go copy my stuff from the other page and put that into box. Copy some of that there. File, save all. Now I'm gonna go refresh that. There we go. So you can see here that here's my content in the middle, right? This is content. This is 800 pixels. Over here, it's not touching the black border right here because of the 10 pixels. And over here, it's not touching the edge because of the 20 pixels. So inside the box, inside the border, is the padding of 10 pixels. And outside the border here is the padding of 20 pixels. That's why it's not touching the side. All right. So to illustrate that, if I was to make my padding more, there we go. So let's make that 50 pixels. File, save all. And then you would have more space inside of the black border. See that? So that is the padding. Outside is the margin. Let's go change the margin to, again to